Welcome and thank you for stopping by today. Hope we can provide some amazing value for you. We're going to be showing some awesome pictures of people that have been able to change their life, transform from this heavy set mentality, this belief that you're just a big, thick person. You don't have to be that way. Things can change. There's always a possibility of your improvement. And so we're here today to just show you that what is possible for people that you may not believe. But all these pictures are public pictures. You can find them on our private Facebook group, My Shape Lipo support group on Facebook. It's really simple. And these people have a protected environment, so we have it in a private group. It's a protected environment where they can share their stories, their pictures, their experience, and then you as a person who might be interested in getting liposuction, it's the ability to connect with these individuals like friends and family that you can go private message them and talk to them and find out what their experience was, and the good, the bad, the ugly. You can get it all. This is really like groundbreaking, right? No other clinics are doing this kind of stuff. The reviews, who knows whether reviews are real or fake. So this is the ability to you can connect directly with me, the one who's going to be doing the procedures. You can get information. You can ask questions directly. You can get to know who I am, what my beliefs are, what my thoughts are, and what the expectations are. You can see our previous patients, the pictures. All this stuff is right out in front of you. Nothing hiding. There's no guessing. You don't have to be like, I'm not sure who's going to do my procedure. There's some places out there, right? You go in and you schedule stuff out, and you're not even sure who's going to do your procedure. So a lot of these really low-cost places, you don't know what you're getting. So with My Shape, we have a proven track record, and we have many patients that are getting these type of results that we're displaying to you. So, and the reasoning why I show these bigger, more dramatic changes is not that everybody's like this, right? Not everybody's like this, but you can see that people that have big problems, if they can get these kind of solutions, then why can't you? That's the thought process that should be going on in your head. If it's possible for these like situations where it's a bad situation, right? When you have this belly that's hanging over all the way over your private parts, I mean, how restricting do you think that has to be? How limiting is that? Not only that, it's the health effect, the high blood pressure, the high cholesterol, the limitation of activities. This is something that people hide from. So clothes don't fit you very well, so it's embarrassing. So you start hiding from things, and when you start hiding from life, that's when you start getting the serious limitations and potentials of your life. And what I'm here to say is that it's definitely possible to change. And if you realize that it's possible to change, then you might actually start taking action to create the change in your life. Sorry, I'm not Spanish speaker, but Kat's here on the Facebook page. Kat, we have some Spanish speaker employees that can answer some of your questions. Stacy says, Granville, how are you doing? It's nice to see Stacy. Stacy's family, been around forever. Okay, Danielle, Wednesday says, so excited to see you, May 26th. I hope you're ready. It's gonna be awesome. I love it when people are so excited to come in and see us, and it's the jumping off point for the change in your life. Because these type of results, you'll see these things, and it happens so quickly. It might take a long time to lead up to the one day, that one moment in time, but once you have committed to this and you get here, it's like things happen quickly. The fat's gone like that within an hour or two, or whatever it takes for the procedure, it's gone. Now, once that fat's gone, now your body, you got to start recovering. So it takes time, right? And that time, now you got to, but it's only a period of time. Once that time's gone, you got this body, right? And this body lasts forever if you keep it. Now, what happens if you don't maintain? What happens if you start doing the same old stuff that you were doing in the past? That whatever your bad habits are, whether it's like drinking soda or eating junk food or fast food or refined sugars or whatever it is that your vice is, the thing that you do. if you keep doing that stuff, you're just going to recreate the same person. It's just a matter of time. It usually takes, from my experience, usually takes about 2 years of a negative lifestyle, and you'll be upset again because your body's not the same. So if you're thinking that liposuction is something that you're just I'm gonna spend my money so then I don't have to change my diet, I don't have to exercise more, I don't have to do those things. If you think if that's your thought process, then you're gonna be sorely disappointed. Because the long-term effects of this, if you follow a better lifestyle, if you do change, I'm talking about simple, basic changes, like, not eating food that is packaged and processed, simple stuff, right? Eat whole foods, stuff that you can pick from the tree or you pull from the ground. Meats, there's certain types of meats that are better than other types of meats. There's just different rules, and you as an individual, you got to start realizing that the things that you consume become accumulated in our body. So if you're consuming negative stuff, you're consuming toxins. Those toxins are accumulating in your body, and if you consume enough toxins and your body can't excrete them, then those toxins build up, and the more they build up, the more disease you're going to get. I mean, this is not complex stuff, and it totally makes sense, I'm sure, if you can understand the processes. Is everything that we're intaking, the food that we're intaking, the water we're intaking, the lotions we put on our body, they're all some degree of toxins. Now, our bodies were designed to detoxify, which is amazing, right? We were blessed with this body, that this machine that it naturally detoxifies. It's great. We're so lucky. The problem is when we get over toxic, meaning we are taking in toxins from too many places that our body is not able to detoxify the way it should. And maybe we're doing certain things that may decrease our body's ability to detoxify. And when that happens, that's when diseases start to pop up. And that'll start usually happening when you start not taking care of yourself for a few decades, and you're talking maybe like the mid-30s, the mid-40s, and when people start seeing the consequences of their actions. And many people will start seeing it earlier in their 30s, but usually you can live a crappy life up until your mid-30s, and at some point you can't hide from it anymore, right? And so your mid-40s, you start having high blood pressure, diabetes starts creeping in. You may have some other issues, right? Limitations. The things that you used to do when you're younger, you can't do anymore because your body's not the same, right? You've done things that accumulated the body that you have today. Now, maybe you like it, maybe it's great, but I'm guessing if you're here on My Shape Lipo, it's likely that you've tried a bunch of things and they're not working for you. So if they're not working for you, you got to do something drastic. You got to do something different. And liposuction is not going to solve all your problems, certainly not. But what it's going to do is psychologically, it's going to let you know that it is possible. It is possible to get what you want, and you can get it quickly. But it's not going to stay. It's an illusion. It'll eventually fade away if you go back to the same habits that you did before. But what I'm suggesting is the people that get the best results, the people that change their life and transform everything in their life, they make small little changes. It's the habits that we do on a daily basis. I'm seeing some Spanish questions here. I apologize. I'm not a Spanish speaker. Kale's out of town right now. Spring break for the kids. Okay. I'm choosing to rise above this whole Tati thing. I know she's talking whatever she's talking. She's dealing with whatever she's dealing with in her drama of life. We offer, just so you're aware, all of our patients, every single one of our patients, it gets my cell phone number and it's Kale's cell phone number, and we communicate with you directly. So there's an open line. There's always an open line. So if you ever have any issues or concerns, or you're worried about something, the first line of communication is to us. You communicate with us and we can help guide you through this whole path. So worse things don't happen, because see, when people don't follow the rules or they don't keep connected with us, they start doing things that are not appropriate, and perhaps harmful to themselves. And the truth is that, when you leave our office, we don't control anything that you do. So anything that happens consequently of your actions that you do outside of our office, the results are going to fall onto you. The consequences fall onto you when you do these things. Now, if you follow our directions, then theoretically you're more likely or to have better outcomes. We've been doing this a long time, so we created these patterns, these rules per se. cleaning the wounds a certain way, keeping everything protected a certain way. And if you follow these things, then you're more likely to get a good result. But nothing's guaranteed, right? The wounds and infection is like you can, if you scratch the wound and then go, rub in dirt, or you get sweaty, you can get infection, months after the procedure. Of course, that's possible. Anytime you have a break in the skin, it's possible that these things happen. So instead of being fearful or thinking that something happened or didn't happen with one person or another person, you need to start thinking of how can you protect yourself. And that's the key. Whatever you see in public or whatever, you just gotta, how can you protect yourself so these things don't happen to you? And this is what you should be thinking about as a patient, whether it's a patient from MyShape or any other place. Anytime you do any of these procedures, there's some risks involved. And if you don't take this risk and calculate it appropriately, then act appropriately based on this risk, then you'll suffer the consequences. Okay. But we're always there to help the patients. We're always there, and there's a direct line directly to us. You have the ability to take pictures and text. I mean, technology is amazing nowadays. Miss A. Glez from Facebook says, how much for the Lipo services? So it's a great opportunity that we've created here, so anybody can go and get their quick quote. We have a new quick quote system. So on Facebook, they're up on the posts here, there's a link directly to the quick quote. And if you're on any of our other channels, you're seeing this, the link can be found on our website, myshapelipo.com. And the quick quote is a simple process where you can base off your height and weight. So we calculate your BMI, which allows us to accommodate for the volume of fat that would be removed, and we give you a fairly accurate quote based off of the BMI. So the BMI is not used to restrict you, but rather to be inclusive into our different pricing structure. Stacy says you gotta do the work. It's important, and I want to make sure that all of you that are considering getting into and doing this type of thing for yourself and investing in your body, it's not easy. Nothing in life is easy, and it's not supposed to be. But we've created this pathway for people that have done the same thing. And the people that get the best long-term results are the ones that are able to transform and change their life. And it's not even it's not like it's a huge dramatic change right away. It's a slow process. So with the liposuction, we get this big dramatic change. It's great. That's awesome. You'll feel a certain way about yourself. You'll realize that it is possible to look a certain way. But the thing is if you don't get committed to yourself and your lifestyle habits, you're not going to be healthy enough to enjoy this body. And that's the thing, is you just have to be a constant and never-ending improvement. And if you're constantly improving, your body will be constantly improving. You'll keep looking for new ways. And when we talk about the food that you eat, right now you may have a certain level, a certain lifestyle that you're doing. It's just about slowly improving. You just get a little bit better. Maybe it means cutting out refined sugar. Maybe it means drinking more water. Maybe it means, whatever. But just it's a small little improvement. When you see this young lady here, how she's able to lose that belly. You see how the fold went away completely. These type of things don't happen in other places. What you mean? Other places, to get these type of results, you'd have to do a tummy tuck. You have to cut the skin away. This is certainly not weight loss. She didn't lose the weight. You don't see this kind of stuff with weight loss. Working out, not so much. So these results are unique to this technique, this procedure. And I guess the whole point and the thing that I want to expose here is that this is possible. And those people that think that you're stuck in this place, in this hole, this restrictive body of that it's like the fat is like a blanket on you, just covering you up. And those of you who think that you can't get out, this is possible. And it's possible for you, because if it's possible for women like this, and it's possible for so many women out there that I know are struggling. So many of you that think that you're giving up. You're tired. Your kids are a little bit older perhaps, and you're tired of this restrictive lifestyle that you have, and it's time to change. And when you're so sick and tired of this crap, When you're so sick and tired, that's the time when you need to call. Because those are the people that I know get the biggest, most dramatic life transformation. Those of you who are ready to change. It's that right at that point that it's so challenging for you, that life is so difficult, that the pain of staying the same is so much that it's time to change. Sabrina 420 says, I need this in my life. I think you probably know a bunch of people that need this in your life. You know, with the way that our society is going now, our food supply, we've all been set up for obesity. That's why obesity is like ravaging people. I mean, even you see our young kids now. The young kids are obese, and you know, it restricts the activities. And now we're going into this world of metaverse, where everything is digital and computerized, and you don't even have to go outside anymore. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I mean, you got to make your choices, right? I'm choosing to live and get out and experience. Jillian says, are you going to have that 20% off sale again? Man, are you guys not aware that there's like 10% inflation, and we're at war, and there's restrictions on supply chains? I mean, we have literally, there's a supply chain issues that are a problem for the medical industry. I mean, simple stuff that we use for liposuction, like saline and lidocaine, which is numbing agent. These are going on back order and not available anymore. So if you think you're getting cheaper prices on any of these things from anybody, I think that's a big dream illusion that you're thinking is ever going to happen. Prices are not going down anytime soon for anybody in the industry. So I would get in while they're cheaper, you know, because I would start to think, hey, they're 20% cheaper than they're going to be next year, because next year it's just coming. Everything is more expensive, and so we're just working with it, right? We're trying to keep our prices down. We're trying to keep this available for as many people as possible. We're doing the best that we can to help as many people as possible. Okay, so you get the same results with BBL. You know, when you say same results with the BBL, you know, nobody gets the same results. You know, if you see a picture up here, there's no way that we can carbon copy, duplicate it to someone else. Everybody's body is a little bit different. Everybody's body has a slightly different potential. And so we just do the best that we can for your body to give you the best possible chance of a good outcome. But you know, the people that do better, I think, with BBL is like they have a good platform. You know, they have a good beginning base. But sometimes there's some people that totally surprise me, and you know, they start with this like SpongeBob SquarePants, like full on, like this one here just blows me away, right? You know, and you can never look at a person and even if you try to predict and say what you think is possible, sometimes you can't predict this kind of stuff. XO Wifey says, is it awake or under anesthesia? So we do everything's a local anesthetic. So it's called a tumescent technique. This technique was developed in the early 80s by a dermatologist, nonetheless, to create this procedure where they can do it without general anesthesia, because general anesthesia causes many of the complications and concerns with any procedure, let alone liposuction. So the tumescent technique allows you to numb only the area that we treat, so they call it local anesthesia as opposed to general anesthesia. So local anesthesia means it only affects the local area, and the medication doesn't circulate throughout the entire body. So it limits the risk, limits the liability. It's also a lower cost because you don't need a anesthesiologist present. Sabrina says, can you do J plasma on the Fupa? So we don't use J plasma. We use a smart lipo laser. It's you know, I don't want to say similar. It's a different technology, but the same concept and idea that it uses a heat-based technology to tighten the skin and create more collagen. And yes, when we do the Fupa, the pubic area, some people call it, we include that in the entire front of the abdomen, or when we do the 360, we're just doing the pubic area. It's just included. If it's an issue, we'll take care of it. Someone says Tati looks beautiful. I think she does too. Really, I see her, and she's certainly putting a lot of content out there with her in a bikini. So um, we get to see, everybody gets to see, and I think she looks great. But right, it's a perception, and what people think of themselves. That's the key. And unfortunately, what I found is with patients, sometimes even though they look a certain way, and everybody from the outside sees them and be like, "Man, it's beautiful, looks amazing, you have great shape." If the individual themselves don't see themselves that same way, this is where you get this body dysmorphia. So some women who are skinny, they see themselves and believe that they're bigger, and so they act as if they're that bigger person, or they're call it ugly, or you know whatever. You have this dysmorphia, or this idea where you believe that you're something different than what you actually are. So it is what it is. People, like I said, it's the confidence level that you get with this procedure. Some people springboard into the future and improve, and some people fall off, right? And it's, you can't predict who's going to be that way. It's a mental stability thing, and the ability to rise above your current situation. It takes effort. It takes, it's uncomfortable. Change is never easy. There's like a grind to it. So you have to do things in order to achieve what you want. And some people are willing to do this stuff, and some people aren't. Some people were in this game to cheat, so I don't have to do diet and exercise. And some people were in this game to, this is just one step in my road to amazingness, to living my best life. And in those different mentalities are two different paths. One goes downhill, one goes uphill. One's improving, one's declining. And the results, this is the results at this moment. If this person decides that they're going to live the life where they're eating poorly and not exercising, you give it 2 or 3 years, they're going to be unhappy again. It's just a matter of time. On the flip side, an individual 2 or 3 years out that follows their diet, follows their exercise routine, lives positive lifestyle habits. This is what happens. This person's 2 or 3 years out, and she's still getting better. She's still improving. And I know it's possible because she's not the only one. There's lots of them. And if you want to connect with some of these people, go to our private Facebook group. Just go to Facebook and search My Shape Lipo Support Group, and you're going to get an opportunity to connect with these individuals. Some of them have had their procedure 3-4 years ago. Some have had multiple procedures on all parts of their body, and it's a long-term life improvement, life transformation, and these people are in it for the long term. So if you're coming in for the short term thing, I'm wham bam, I get this procedure and have this hot body and I'm out, that's cool, but it's not what we're all about. We're trying to make this long-term transformation for individuals, and we've created this environment where these people support each other. And you can come back and watch these videos and get inspired and motivated, and hopefully share some of your stories. And it's fun when people share their stories. Okay, if I book this month, when will be possible next month for surgery, BBL, and lipos? Deep baby, you gotta, I don't do any of the scheduling. I certainly don't have that stuff on this live. So, call our office and they can get you the scheduling and all that stuff. Okay, how long is the recovery? Do you need a massage after? So the massages is one of those things that people benefit from, and whether you choose to take advantage of massages is up to you. It can certainly be done without them. However, you probably get better results with the massages. The recovery is going to be variable per individual, but it's the same basic stuff. In the beginning, you're going to be draining this fluid. It's messy, and that's the first couple days. Then your body's going to swell up, so we put the compression garments on to try and reduce the amount of swelling. The better the compression is, the less the swelling that you have. Now your body will then take whatever swelling that you get, it consolidates everything. It's very firm. That firmness sticks around for weeks to months. Sometimes people are like 6 months out where they still have this firm swelling, this residual swelling. But as that firmness starts to dissipate, that's where the skin retracts back. It's a slow contraction, and it's actually pretty cool the way it works. So the firm swelling, it kind of expands stuff and makes everything tight, but then everything contracts back slowly, and that's where the magic happens. So you just got to be patient. So Sabrina, we're pretty flexible with our procedure dates. Right now our scheduling is we're doing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So we pack in about 1 month of procedures in 2 weeks, but we're pretty flexible, I said, and we have a high capacity with Kayla and myself. So if we get a higher demand and we need to open up dates, we're just going to open up dates. I really don't care to have an extended, booked out like 6 months. I don't think that's fair to anybody, and we can handle the. We want to help as many people as possible, Okay, can I get lips if I have lipo? I'm assuming you mentioned lipo if I have hypothyroidism. So hypothyroidism is the thyroid issue, obviously, and hypo refers to you have less of the thyroid hormone circulating in your system, which the thyroid is kind of related to your metabolism. So with hypothyroidism, you have a slower metabolism, which makes you gain weight. So we get lots of patients that have this type of issue. So with hypothyroidism, it's one of those things we just want to make sure that everything is managed appropriately. And as long as it's managed appropriately, then we can do the procedure on you. See, do you do puffiness under your eyes, and also what you're showing, how much is all that costs? And that was SS on YouTube. So SS cost-wise, first thing you're going to want to jump on our website, myshapelipo.com. You can get a quick quote like while we're speaking right now. Actually on YouTube you can't go off like that, but you can go on the quick quote and fill out the information, get the quote like immediately. No need to communicate with anything. It's separate. You do other stuff. The quote is pretty accurate for most people. And then when you're serious and you're ready to move forward, the next step is the formal consultation. It's a paid consultation. It's $100. You're going to send in pictures. We evaluate your situation. We speak on the phone with you for about 30 minutes, answer all your questions, make sure that we're on the same page, and we create this plan that's going to work specifically for what your needs are. Once we get everything nailed down, the next step is just placing your deposit. The deposit allows you to pick a date and time on our schedule. And once you pick a date and time on our schedule, things happen quickly. Your life starts to change. So you got to start changing the way that you think about things. Because once you have this new body, it's a new you. And with a new you got to start acting like the new person. You got to start acting like that new person, right? Because if you acted like the heavier set person, this thicker person, or whatever these words are that you called yourself, if you start acting like that person, then you're gonna just recreate it. But if you start acting like this new person, this new improved individual, this person that belongs in this new body, if you start acting like that, then you're going to maintain and keep that new body. So yes, definitely hypothyroidism. We can help you out. And it's one of those things, like I was saying, the hypothyroidism, it lowers your metabolism. So, this is something that kind of gives you an unfair advantage, we might say. So Stacy's just confirming that we do keep open lines of communication, and she can still text me now. In fact, she has. We've communicated, Stacy and I, over the years. And we're accessible as well on Facebook and Instagram. I mean, you're asking questions right here. You private message us. And what's up, Terry Segovia? He says, how long is my stomach gonna stay hard and swollen? I mean, I can talk from my personal experience, and I swelled up a lot. And I had my procedure 15 years ago. I swelled up a lot, and it stayed swollen for a long time, like 6 to 8 months. And it was frustrating. But I made the mistake of I went back to work the next day, so I didn't really slow down at all, which probably caused more swelling. And I also didn't keep good compression, so I stopped wearing the compression garment after about a week, which is stupid, right? But back then we didn't know any better. So I made the mistakes that I made, and I paid for it. But now everything's good. But how long is your stomach going to be, Terry? I don't know that. But I can tell you that the best thing that you can do is you got to keep good compression, that firm, smooth compression. Now, compression itself can cause irregularities, so you got to keep the smooth compression. And you can do that. Sometimes you might have issues, so you'd use foam, or you might use one of those lipo boards. So these are just tools that you can utilize to improve your situation. Okay. But I hope you're doing well, Terry. We just did your procedure a little while ago. Stacy says you can also find help at the support group. That's right, of course. The support group's always there. So if you don't speak directly to me, or maybe you feel like it's not that important to address with me or call or text, the group is a place where you can communicate with your peers and get peer review of your situation. Like, hey, is this normal? I've been having this issue. What can I do? What did you guys do for this? Because look, the truth is that when you get liposuction, it's like a sorority you're joining, because we've all been through the same stuff. And if we've all been through the same stuff, now I can share my experience that'll help you, and it makes it easier. And why not? Because when I had my procedure, there was people that were guiding me through the system, through the process. Stacy says, as far as the swelling, it depends on the person. Hers was 3 months. Okay, Summer Lynn says, how does this happen to women more than men? Summer, it doesn't necessarily happen to women more than men. It's just that women tend to talk about it more than men. And that's a whole nother conversation, is why that happens. I don't know the answer to that, but women tend to talk a lot and they want to talk a lot. And this just isn't taboo. So in men won't talk about it because it's taboo in our society, and so it is what it is. So I'm not trying to make up the rules here, but it's the rules of engagement at this point. Now, every once in a while, in fact, you're going to see this gentleman right here. Obviously there's men, right? We do get quite a few men, but they just don't talk about it, and they don't want us to show pictures. So, this group has grown more into the women, and they wanted the group to be women only. But yeah, if you have husbands that want to get thinner, absolutely, this works for them. Fat is fat. There's no feminine or masculine. Fat is fat. It comes out. We suck it out and you get results. Keonce says, see y'all May 5th. I love it when it's like you can project out when your future is going to change. Okay, when you do the abdominal part, do you include the groin area? We do, Keonce. That's where in the past we didn't include it, and people would, out of cost purposes, they would like chintz on it, like, I think I'll not do. I don't really need it that much, and they get crappy results because they chose not to. So I like I said, my goal here is to get the best possible results, and when you give people the choice to make a bad choice, sometimes they do. And so it was the sometimes they do that I didn't like. So we tried to encourage and eliminate the choice and just do what's right for you. And if you need it, we're gonna do it. And if you don't need it, we're not gonna do it. It's that simple. But typically the women, these larger women that we're helping, they need it, right? Because if you get fullness and that much fullness in your belly, of course you're gonna have fullness everywhere else in your body. So, we just do what we can. Someone helped me in the past, and I'm trying to pay it forward and help other people. And Stacy here is saying the same thing. She said, pay it forward, share your stories. Let's change the world one person at a time. And that's what it's all about. Look, Stacy, we helped her change her life. We helped her. I'm not saying I did. She did it herself. I empowered her, perhaps. I motivated her, perhaps. I inspired her, perhaps. I helped her by doing these procedures, perhaps. Whatever the case, whatever help I gave her, it was just pushing her down the road. But now she's done the stuff on her own. She's had her own success. She created her own story, and she lived through it. Now that she has that story, that's the most valuable thing that she has. Now she can turn around and help people that were just like her. They were struggling the same way. And now she says, I have a solution. You can do the same thing that I did. And I know it's possible because I did it. And that's her truth. That's what she knows. So she pays it forward. If somebody helped her, so she's out there trying to help as many people as possible. That's why she jumps on all these lives. She's always here. I so appreciated her. But you know what the thing is that I think I realized with her as well is I benefit from talking to these cameras. I know it's benefiting a lot of people, but I benefit. And that's probably the biggest reason why I come out here. I keep coming out because I benefit. I improve. When I speak these things out into existence, the more I teach and explain and guide, the more that I do that stuff, it helps me guide myself. And I'm perfecting myself. And the more that I perfect myself, it's going to inspire and motivate other people. And it's a circle of life. So I'm here to help as many people as possible because I know that in my helping them, I'm helping myself. And Stacy knows the same thing. I think she figured it out. Right? That's the secret. And you can do it too. When we help you get to this point, when we help you motivate and guide you through this path, it's your responsibility to then turn around and say, hey, you need some help? Let me help you out. Look at this young lady here. She had high blood pressure and PCOS. She said that her periods, with PCOS, she was getting her period once every 6 months or, twice a year. So it was very irregular. And after liposuction, she was able to decrease her blood pressure medication by 3/4. So she's taking 1/4 of the medication, and her blood pressure was better controlled after liposuction. This was 4 months after liposuction. And she also stated that immediately after liposuction, she started getting regular periods. Regular periods. I mean, nobody talks about this stuff like liposuction is going to help you get a regular period. Why would it? Nobody talks about that stuff. But this is the stuff, this is the real stuff. These are the things that you're not going to see in reviews. You're not going to see, that no medical journals are going to be discussing these things. It's I don't want to say rare, but these things happen because every individual is unique and different. I've had quite a few patients that have had fibromyalgia, which if you're not familiar with fibromyalgia, they get pain like all over the place, weird stuff. And nobody really knows. Medical explanation is like, I don't know. Hey, take this drug, and that's what they do. So, I've had patients that come up with liposuction, and we treat certain areas, whether that's their arms or their legs or their abdomen. And they claim to have had pain in these areas, and after liposuction, the pain goes away. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. Who knows, right? But these things happen, and so I'm not saying liposuction is going to solve all your problems, but you know what? There's so many benefits to it. You might as well just give it a shot. I mean, if at all it just makes you thinner and you look this way, that would be great. But what about if you get all these other benefits? What if it improves your sleeping? What if you have more energy? What if you have the ability to be more flexible? What if your blood pressure goes down and your heart works less for the rest of your life? What are these things? What's the impact they're going to have on you? And the truth is, you don't know and I don't know. And some of these things you just have to leap forward and just hope for the best. And you can see that it's not like a big risk. I mean, you're taking a risk, but the rewards are plentiful. And you got people like Stacy that are coming on. She's had a procedure years ago, and she comes on and she's with her megaphone. They just scream at the top of her lungs to let people know that this is possible. Because you know what? Just because we've had our success, I want other people. It's lonely at the top, right? You don't want to be the only one with success. I want to drag everyone with me. I want to lift everyone up. Let's rise together. Yes, thank you, Stacy, so much. It really helps. And when you start realizing how much, when you give, how much of an effect it really has on the world and the people around you, it gets really exciting at that point. And that's when, for me, when I start seeing many people sharing and doing their thing, it's fun, it's exciting, because you can see them publicly expanding and growing, and that's exciting. It's like the ripple effect. I do the thing that I do with the liposuction, and it kind of ripples out. So it helps the individual, but then that individual helps other people, and it ripples out. It just keeps getting better. Keon today says Lipo Garfield. I don't know what that means. Groin area, I guess. Yeah. Zara says, Trevor, you need your own TED Talk. Maybe someday it'll evolve into that. Zara, the interesting thing is that the more I want to talk about other things, everybody draws me back to talk only about liposuction. So I'll tell you all the stories. And you stick around here long enough, you find that I give you the same answers because people answer the same questions over and over. But it's important that as new people come into this channel, that they're able to have the ability to learn from the people who have come before them. And so, you might say that you're standing on the shoulders of giants. So those individuals like Stacy, like Rebecca, some of the individuals that had multiple procedures, they've been around for a long time, they're the giants. And they're here to share their experience with you, to teach you the ways that you can get to where they are now quicker without making mistakes. Because we all go through mistakes, right? This is how we learn. But the thing is that you don't have to learn from your own mistakes when you can learn from someone else's mistakes. And that's where having a mentor can speed up the whole process for you by 5 years, 10 years. I mean, we can speed up the process significantly, like exponentially faster, if you follow the path. So imagine like you walk through this big tall path of, this grass field, and the first time there's no path, it's like you're just walking through, and then after you trample down some of the grass, this person behind you says, okay, I can see where he went, so I'm going to walk on the same path because it's a little bit easier. It's still difficult. I'm still getting hit in the face with grass and everything, but I'm going to trample down a little bit more. And then 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 people go through this, and all of a sudden it becomes a path, and it's easy to see. So the same thing was with this liposuction. We've been doing this with MyShape Lipo for, I think it's been like 11, 12 years now, and thousands of patients are getting these results, and it's consistent time and time again. And I've seen the people that have done well and then fall off. And I've seen people that have done well and they rose. They went just like exponential growth. And what I know, because I've done it myself, is that there are certain habits and patterns that we just implement in our life, disciplines in our life, that will help us to rise and improve. And these are simple things that you can do. And most people are concerned that I don't have time, or I'm too tired, I don't have enough energy. They're consumed with their problems that they have, and they're not able to get beyond their problems and advance and grow and figure out how to not have those problems anymore. So when you get liposuction, it eliminates a big problem that you have. And then in eliminating that big problem, it allows you to then focus on a different problem and take all of your energy and focus on a different problem, which is ironically connected to, because everything's connected. So with the liposuction, we're going to figure out where you get the fat out of your body. We'll make you look a certain way. And if once you look a certain way, you start to feel a certain way about yourself. That level of confidence starts rising. And as you start doing more things that take advantage of this new body, it advances your confidence even more, because it expands your horizons. So now you feel like, well, I can wear these certain clothes now. Now that I can wear these certain clothes, and I can go to these certain places. Now that I can go to these certain places, I feel comfortable, confident around these people, because before I thought, they looked at me a certain way. So now I feel more confident. Now I can go engage with these individuals, and who knows what that opens up. Maybe that opens up business opportunities, work opportunities, or collaborations, or friendships, or lovers, or whatever else. I mean, who knows? Anything is possible. And that's the thing that you just got to realize. Anything's possible. So live the life that you want to live. Stop staying in this box. Stop believing that you can only be this one individual, that your body is stuck the way it is. It's not. It's not. And there's literally thousands of examples of people that were able to transform their lives. Thousands. And if you expand beyond the liposuction world, there's millions of people who have transformed their lives. And it starts with the psychology. It's the same thing. It's the same pattern. There's patterns that people follow. So if you can learn these patterns, you can follow them as well. Simple stuff. Simple stuff. And it doesn't have to be as hard as you think. Simple habits like getting up earlier. Simple habits like reading for 15 minutes a day to improve yourself. Simple habits like drinking more water. Going out and walking 10,000 steps. These are basic habits on a daily basis. These are the things that will make you great. And if you can make those a priority in your life, you'll be great. It's just a matter of time. It's programming your life for greatness. And if you want to program your life for greatness, then it's inevitable. But you have to be disciplined. And it has to go from a I should to I must. And that's the key difference. It's not even that big of a difference, right? But when I should do something, you never do, or you rarely do, or it falls off. It leaves you an out. Like, I should do that, but it's too late today. I should get up early to go to the gym, but I'm a little tired today. I should go to the gym, but last night we went out, we had a few drinks, and I'll do it next time. Okay, but when it becomes a must, like, I must do this. I must go to the gym, and I'm not going to make any mistakes. I'm not going to miss out. When it becomes a must, you start doing, and it allows you to get over these little humps, these little, we'll call them speed bumps, right? These mental bumps in your head that tell you, hey, they start giving you excuses out. It's those excuses out that allow you to enable you to live this life that keeps you stuck in the box. So when you're ready to open the box and crawl out and see that there's a whole new world for you, that's when we want to talk to you at My Shape Lipo. These are the type of people that get these results. These are the type of people that maintain the results. The ones that step out of the box. Step out of the box and live a whole new life. And you can become whoever you want to be. This is the magic here. You can become anybody. You choose. You want to stay the same, you can stay the same. But if you want to be different, that's possible. And that's exciting. Rosario says, what's the downtime? The downtime is obviously going to depend on what you're doing, what kind of activity you're looking to get back to. If you are doing, more activity at work, lifting heavy stuff, it might take a little bit longer. But statistically speaking, our patients said that about 80% of them were able to get back to a sedentary type job within 3 to 5 days. And about 85% said by 2 weeks they were able to do light gym workout and exercises. So, but everybody's a little bit different. So you might take a little bit longer, shorter. I can speak from my personal experience, and I'm kind of one of these. I just do stuff, and I push myself to my limits, as you may see. And I was able to get back to work very quickly, activity very quickly, and I was sore, but it's not something that stops you. Zara, I hope you're doing great. One of our recent patients. Brenda Castillo, Susie, what's going on? Let's see, Miss OC says, are these results from only lipo? Yes, only lipo. We do not do tummy tucks or any cutting of the skin, so you'll see there's no big scars, and none of those, nobody's covering up scars on the pictures. There's none of that stuff. Just liposuction. We also do fat transfer, so if you're looking to get a little bit more volume in your butt or your breast, we can do fat transfer. But that's the thing, is that these results are only liposuction. Only liposuction. So when you realize what's possible, and you have friends and family that have these problems, I mean, how many people do you know that have these issues? You see these pictures, and the truth is that you probably don't see the people naked or without their clothes on, so you don't really see their problems. But you can imagine through their clothes what they're wearing, what they're dealing with underneath. Sometimes they wear that spandex stuff, and you can kind of see what they're dealing with. How many people do you know that this can help? That they believe that it's hopeless. What kind of difference do you think it would make in their life to have something like this, to have the confidence that they can have a flat belly again? What do you think it means? What do you think it means to them? Miss OC says, are there any requirements? Of course there's requirements. You have to be healthy, that's the big thing, and you have to have fat that you want to remove. And we don't make it a requirement, but I think it's really important that you're ready to change your life, and you're looking to not only get the liposuction, but make the lifestyle changes that are appropriate with a person that is leaner and thinner. So you have to live a healthier lifestyle. You said you know about the BMI. So we don't have a BMI that's restrictive. We're using the BMI as a inclusive categorization for our pricing system. So we do, as you can see, we do larger BMI individuals, and they get phenomenal results. Like this one here. I mean, these simple when you take away these bellies, I think there's a lot of women out there that get mistaken for being pregnant, and it's got to be probably the most embarrassing things. I know that being on the extending side, when I would say, "Oh, congratulations," and then when you're wrong, it's super embarrassing and super uncomfortable for me. So I made the habit of never say that. It always has to be offered up. It always has to be offered up because when you make assumptions, it's super embarrassing. So you can imagine this girl here. She she got mistaken for being pregnant, and to have to explain it, it's you do it once time, two times, three times, and then finally you're like, I'm so sick of this crap, and you start doing things, right? You start wearing these garments, you start going to the gym, you start trying whatever latest, I don't know, diets and restrictive things that you could do, but you're basically you're covering up the problem. She had an abundance of fat collected right on that abdomen area, and even though she tried to diet, it was really just she just shrank it in size to where it was the same thing, just a smaller version. So she still had the belly, but she was just a smaller version of it. So it never really went away. So with liposuction, it's totally different. We're not shrinking the fat cells like you do with dieting. We're actually physically removing the fat cells. And when you physically remove the fat cells, that's when you can get these type of results. But you're not going to get it from straight dieting. That just won't happen. That's a myth. At least I haven't seen it. I don't know. But I guess anything is possible, right? I'm a believer. Okay, what happens to the loose skin? So Tiara, so you can see that this is an example of a larger individual here, and we use this picture more of like a progressive picture. So you can see that after the procedure, she's the before picture's up on the top, and you can see after the initial procedure, all the fat's taken out. However, they swell up really significantly, and then you can see a few months later, that whole belly, that everything disappears. And this was meant to give hope to those larger individuals who tend to swell a lot. It's frustrating. I know for me, speaking personally, it's frustrating when you swell a lot because in your mind you see fullness, and your mind will try to tell you that it's fat, and it's not the fat. It's just a swelling. But interestingly enough, you can see how the skin looks, somewhat tight afterwards. And then when that swelling goes away, that's where that tightness just retracts back. Everything, and this is part of the process. So you have to kind of trust the process to where initially you swell up and everything gets hard, and then it's that hardness slowly fades away. And as it fades away, that's when the skin tightens up. And, it's pretty amazing at how well your body is able to tighten up. Because I think it's significantly more than you would anticipate, and it's hard to predict these type of things. And I've been doing this a long time, and I try to predict this stuff, but it's hard to predict who's going to get what type of results. Okay, how long is the recovery? How soon can I take an hour-long flight after fat transfer? So our recommendations for after fat transfer is for all of our procedures is that you come in the night before the procedure, and you stay for 48 hours after the procedure minimum, and then you can fly, you can do whatever you want. Now we're going to supply you with especially for the fat transfer to the butt, you get a specialized pillow that you sit on, and that kind of keeps your butt raised up so you're not putting pressure on it. So the idea is that you're not supposed to put pressure on the fat transfer for no pressure for 2 weeks and limited pressure for 2 months. But you got to do your best, right? So we're still alive, we're still doing things. You just do the best that you can do. If you can stay off it for longer, not travel for longer, maybe that'd be better. The choice is yours. An hour flight, so you're talking like California, San Francisco, LA area, I'm assuming, Arizona. Those hour flight, you're up, you're down, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And one of the issues in traveling is that the concerns of blood clots. So you want to do all the things necessary to reduce your risk. So when we have these potential problems, instead of the fear, instead of being scared of what could happen, you should start thinking of, okay, what can I do to alleviate that risk and reduce that risk? So if you're concerned about infection, which we all should, what can you do? So you can clean, you can protect, you can use Band-Aids to protect the wounds. There's different things that you can do to just make sure it heals better. Good nutrition. One of the issues our patients have is they come into us with poor nutrition to begin with, and then afterwards you're trying to heal these wounds. Maybe you're pre-diabetic and you're not a good healer. You have to work on the nutrition afterwards to heal the wounds, and it's hard because you kind of started from a position where you're behind the 8 ball, right? It's already a challenge. So you do the best that you can and deal with whatever the consequences are, right? You're jumping into this and you're trying to make this big dramatic change, and you're going to get the big dramatic change, but sometimes you have to jump through some hoops to get there. And you never really know what all those hoops are exactly until you're going through the process. Now, there's a bunch of big potential things that can happen, and you just have to do the best that you can to, I guess we'll call it like maneuvering through the landmines. And the nice thing is when you have our previous patients through the group to help guide you through this landmines, and say, hey, don't do this because this is possible. Don't do this because this will cause this problem. And if you can kind of guide people around, the hope is that they have fewer issues, fewer problems, and if they can learn from the experience of other people, that's ideal, right? All right. About to wrap this up. If you guys have any other questions. When you're ready to make this big dramatic change, this big life transformation, when you're ready, it happens so quick. But just out of curiosity, if you're wondering, hey, how much does this stuff cost? Go to our website, myshapelipo.com, and you can click on the quick quote. The quick quote is this quick system. You're just going to enter your basic information, your height and weight, and based off your BMI, we can categorize you and give you specific pricing for whatever you're looking for. Now, once you get this pricing, you're like, this is awesome, I can do this, and now you're ready to go. The next step is your formal consultation. We do the formal consultation where you're going to meet directly with myself or Kale, send in some pictures, we're going to talk on the phone with you, answer all your questions, and develop a plan to help move forward and create this new life for you. So all this can happen very quickly if you want. The key thing is you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision like, this is the moment that I am going to change my life and we're going to move forward. Because how many of you out there have been putting this off? How many have you been following me for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and you've been hearing me say the same things over and over and over, and it's a repetition, and I get it. That's how we learn. But when are you going to be ready? When are you going to jump off the bench and say, Coach, I'm ready, put me in. It's time to change. When you're ready, when you get to that point, you got to schedule the formal consultation. That's the one that's going to press you forward. So thank you so much. Let's see, one quick question. After liposuction, how soon can I go back to work? And also about financing. So financing, Tara, once you get the consultation with us, you'll have the number of what it's going to cost, and then you can go to a finance company, which we deal with a finance company, and you just apply for financing. So that's possible. After the liposuction, how soon can you go back to work? It depends what kind of work you do. Most people are back within 2 weeks. Within 3 to 5 days. If it's a sedentary type job, if you're working from home, you can probably go back to work immediately. But if you're doing more, heavy lifting and things of that nature, it might take a little bit longer. All right, thank you so much for watching, Tara, and the rest of you. I hope I've supplied some information that'll benefit you, and when you're ready to make those changes, we're ready to help you. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.